when you signed a lifetime contract with Hendrick Motorsports, you know, I hear that, right? And I think my mind goes to, you know, these players that'll sign these long deals. Baseball players do it quite a bit, knowing damn well they're not going to play those last 4 or 5 years of that deal, you know, and it looks good on paper. It's a big splash for the media. But when you signed a lifetime contract, what in the hell did that even mean? Because you're still in the middle of your driving career at that time, right? Did you really believe that your entire life was going to be locked into Hendrick Motorsports from that moment on?
I did.
Really?
I did. You know, I mean, Rick has meant so much to me, you know, personally and professionally. And because, so again, I go back to, this was a time when Ray Evernham got the Dodge opportunity, and he was on his way there, and great opportunity. You know, hated to see him go, but at the same time, you know, it kind of made me have to think and evaluate my life and my career and where things at for me. And I knew in my heart I didn't want to leave Hendrick Motorsports. You know, to me, they gave me this amazing opportunity. That's the best organization. Yeah. We've won championships and races. Why would I go anywhere else? But at the same time, Ray Evernham, it was a great crew chief and a guy that I trusted in and had so much success with that, you know, how do you break that up? And I just remember going to Rick's house and just having a conversation with him about it. And I think he thought when I came there, I was coming to tell him I'm going with Ray.
Oh, wow.
Which was not the case at all. So when it finally got to the point where we said, hey, I said, I don't want to go anywhere. I want to be here. And he's like, well, we want you to be here too. And I don't know if it happened at that time or if it happened right after that. It was, well, let's just make sure that we put that together where we're together forever. And so that's what, not only was it a lifetime contract, but it gave me equity in Hendrick Motorsports. And to me, that's what paved the runway for my future at Hendrick Motorsports of one day when I'm not driving, I'm going to have a role here. What is the role? How's it defined? Don't know. Wasn't put in there. But, you know, so as I got closer to retirement, that's when more of those conversations started happening. Really happened when I hurt my back. I hurt my back in the car, you know, or along the way, just racing. And I started having pain in my back, and I thought my career was going to be over a little bit earlier than I expected. And I started having the conversations with Rick of, all right, you know, let's talk about this. And so, you know, from a branding standpoint, I feel like I'd built a brand for so many years that I felt like that was also important, even to my role at Hendrick Motorsports, is maintaining that. And so that's when the conversation talked about staying relevant, moving into the TV booth, and pursuing it, you know, with the TV, you know, the networks. And so ended up getting the deal with Fox, and Rick's like, okay, you know, that's great. I think it's a good idea, and you know, we still have a lot of things, you know, that need to happen here before we're probably ready for you to move into a bigger role. And so go do a 3-year deal, and that's what I did. I did a 3-year deal, and as I got to the end of the 3 years, I was enjoying it. I mean, I love being a part of the sport in that way, calling a live broadcast. There's adrenaline. It's exciting, and you've put it well. You know, like it's kind of, you're like top 5 every weekend, right? It's like you don't leave there disappointed, but you're also not going to victory lane, and yet, you know, but you're also growing with it and trying to find new ways to kind of add value. And Fox was great to work with too. And so I kind of said to Rick, hey, I think I'd like to do 3 more years. And he said, okay, but that's got to be it. I think we're ready. Like, really want you to come in here. Marshall Carlson, you know, was doing more with Hendrick Automotive Group, more on the manufacturing side, and some of the GM defense things that we're doing. And so the timing really was perfect at the end of that 6 years to move into this role. Now, even then, it wasn't clearly defined,
right?
But here's the thing. You know, the relationship I have with Rick is that he's always lived up to his word, and I always live up to my word, and we're just really honest. We have a great relationship where we could just share things and talk about it. And, you know, it wasn't about money. It was about what is my future within Hendrick Motorsports, and how does he see that and view that. And he wanted to hear the same from me. And this sport and Hendrick Motorsports has given me everything.
Yeah.
And so not only do I want to give back, but I love the company and I love the sport. And so this is the way, I think the best way for me to be able to, have a long future in again, creating value for Hendrick Motorsports and for, our folks. I mean, it's just like he says, it's all about the people, and I'm invested in the people now more than I ever have, and I am enjoying it. It's got some challenges.
Talk about those challenges.
I mean, it's just you're in a lot of different meetings where a lot of things are being thrown at you, and it's just something every day, which is the fun part. The fun part is there's no day that's the same, right? The hours aren't necessarily set. It's just what's being thrown at you, whether it's a driver getting injured, trying to land a new sponsor, or planning 40th anniversary celebrations or events, negotiating with NASCAR and the things that we're doing with the teams and making sure that we're continuing to stay competitive, winning races and championships. I'm less on the competition side, I'll be honest.
That's so surprising to me.
Yeah, I just feel like,
having been a driver,
I mean, I like working with the drivers to find ways to help them build their own brand, help connect to the sponsors and more the business side of things, licensing and merchandising and those types of opportunities. And for some reason, it seems to be more of my interest is the business side. But I haven't driven this car. The competition's changed so much, the way that they tied to the engineering and all the data and all and so while I listen and like to be knowledgeable about it and add when I can, to me it's more about the chemistry and the work ethic and how you share information and how you just get the most out of yourself as a team and as a driver. That's more where I think I'm focused, and that's what Rick. What I love about Rick is Rick was always just, what tools do you need to go faster? Or not just me as a driver, but as a team, right? You know this. I mean, you were there. He's just always trying to figure out what can we do to stay competitive, stay on top of our game. What people can we put together to make that happen?
I talked to some fans on social media about you coming on the show and asked them if there were any questions that they wanted me to ask you, and you talked about working with the drivers. One of the questions from a guy, Michael Schumann, he says, "Why do you think that monotone drivers are good for the sport and HMS?" And he's being a bit he's needling you a little bit, but you had a comment, right? Denny, this was right around the time when Denny was sort of getting himself in trouble with his podcast.
Yeah.
And you came out and you said, I don't really want my guys doing those type of things. We don't need that. It's a bit of a distraction. We want to be a smooth operation over here, and I need my drivers walking a certain line. There's been, when I went there, it was, tuck in your shirt, wear slacks, wear a button down. There was a style. There was an image. Yeah. Penske has it as well. An expectation that's been there forever, right? And you were part of that as a driver, and now part of it is running the business. What is okay for your drivers? What are you when we got this Netflix deal? Yeah, you see the drivers out there, some of them sharing a lot of their lives. I'm certain that you want your guys in that in that sort of environment, right? And helping your sponsors. Sure. Helping the sport and all that thing, but I know that you've got a lot of opinions on this.
Well, I mean, listen, there's no book, right? You don't get a Hendrick book and it just says here's the guardrails. I think we love to see guys have personality and show it. I mean, I go back through my career and it came through opportunities. I mean, the things that I did with Pepsi, because they presented something and it's like, if you have the kind of comfort level to go try some of those things and put yourself out there, and maybe you'd be a little bit more criticized if it doesn't go well, but put yourself out there when those right opportunities come along. I think that's great. I love that. I want that. Yeah. But also got to be professional. and the way we do things is definitely at a high professional level to get the most out of the race team and the race car, and just knowing how hard everybody works right at it. So to me, that's a fine line between showing your personality, being professional, and then doing things that are kind of create conflict and
going against the grain.
Yeah. And so I just think that depends on who your sponsor is. Depends on who your owner is.
So I want to ask you this. So Jimmy, right, is driving for HMS forever. You and I know Jimmy. We know Jimmy Jam. We know the alter ego. We know what kind of guy this guy is when he's out and about and away from the track. Fun, goofy, hilarious, daredevil, all of those things, right? But when he was, and I know that he was focused and a champion, right, and doing what he needed to do to win races and be his best. But there seemed to be, from somewhere, whether it was him, Lowe's, or HMS, there was a muffling of his personality, right? And was you now in the position you're in, you think that was more of a personal choice for Jimmy?
I thought it was. I mean, I didn't think that it was ever. I think it depends on your sponsor and kind of what those expectations are. I mean, I think there's higher expectations at Hendrick today because of all the success, because the way things have evolved.
Higher expectations now?
Well, I mean, as far as
the damn expectations were pretty damn high.
Not just your performance. Yeah. I just think the level of professionalism.
When there was a 5 and a 7-time champion in the competition meetings.
4, man.
Well, 4. When there was, I'm gonna give you one more.
Thank you.
When there were that many championships in the competition meetings, I couldn't imagine the expectations being higher today.
But you were there. I mean, and you tell me, like, you had Mountain Dew, right, as a sponsor. And I mean, how did you feel?
I always sort of, I probably didn't do myself a lot of favors all the time. I mean, I was going to be an idiot every once in a while and say the wrong thing, and I wasn't quite as smart about, maybe I should just keep my mouth shut today.
Yeah, but did anybody criticize you for that? Or
I never had, I don't know that, Rick or no one ever sat me down and said, man, cut that out, right? Stop that. More, nothing like Denny's probably experienced.